Everybody's after a better mousetrap, right? Well, I think these mousetraps are actually the better mousetraps. So I want to make a better mousetrap more better by improving on the actual method of deployment. What this here is very simple, just made out of scrap, an old screw bucket with some holes drilled. It's clear so we can see inside and figure out what's happening. And it has the mousetraps actually fastened to the plywood on the bottom. Let's go put it in the coop and I'll show you how it works. So the issue with your mousetrap in the chicken coop is that these guys may not be smart enough to keep their little beakers out of the mousetrap. We don't want that to happen. That is, we don't want them getting trapped in the mousetrap, but we've got to control the mouse population. And what we have here is something that we can slide right under. Okay? Chickens can't get to anything in here that's going to hurt them. Their necks aren't long enough. Mice like to climb along the back walls. And that can just be slid in place, and then to check it, pulled out. Hey, do we have mice? Yes or no? Back in. And then when you're servicing it, you can tilt it all open. Traps are screwed to the plywood so they're not flinging all over the place. See? That is just scrap. Right, so I'm going to show you really how simple making a better mousetrap better is, and what you can do with just scrap materials. So a little bit closer look on that. Number one, the outside container shell is really, really fantastic if you can get a clear one. And as you will see, this is just a box of screws that you can get at the hardware store. You peel that label off and you can see inside really well. These come in different sizes, obviously, depending on how many screws you're buying. If you know anyone that's in the construction industry, they're going to have like boxes of these around they're throwing away. Early versions of this I kept the lid on it, and I was trying to do this with the lid to snap down. And while it seems like it makes a lot of sense, the problem with that is that it gets difficult to try to hinge it and open it, and you end up with situations where you're tripping your trap without meaning to. So ditch the lid and just use the container. I've done this with buckets, I've done it with other types of containers, but these are my favorite. And you can probably also use just like a storage container, kind of a Tupperware, if you will, as well. Really depends on how many traps you want in there and the size for it. Plywood is plywood. You know, we use this because you can very easily screw or nail or staple or glue the mousetrap of your choice just to your plywood. There are different mousetraps, obviously, and this even works really well with your traditional kind of spring clip mousetrap, as long as it's firmly attached to your plywood, right? Because one of the problems I had when I first started building these is that it would trip the trap when I was moving things around and trying to check it. And we don't want to do that. So firmly affix your trap. The other reason being that when you have more than one trap in here, when they trip, your trap will flip and spin, and that can then hit your trap next to it and cause it to pop as well, and then it's not doing any good. So stick your trap to your plywood, and then your plywood, make it larger than your cover so that you have a way to slide it, grab it, move it in and out. Easy peasy. As far as getting your hole in it, I like to use a good 2-inch saw like this. You can get these anywhere. A smaller one will work as well. Here's the key to make it chicken coop safe, is put your holes in it opposite of where your trap trips, right? Just think it through. Be smarter than the chicken, because they're going to be curious about what's in there, especially if you have some peanut butter, whatever you're using, and we don't want them to get in here. So a nice low hole and away from the side that trips. And also with your trap, you want to be able to slide it somewhere that's near a wall in a corner. Mice tend to run walls, and that way if you put, for example, 3 holes in this one and set a trap in here where it's in the backside, it's out of the way. And then, you know, here's the other thing. Zip ties. Who doesn't have zip ties? You can get some zip ties. If you don't want to use those to set your trap like as a hinge, you can use some plumber's tape. You can get plumber's tape. It typically comes in rolls. You can get this stuff at Walmart, Home Depot, Lowe's, whatever, it doesn't matter. This stuff is very, very common, very easy to get your hands on, and you can bend, cut, and make a hinge or something out of that pretty easily. Do that with zip ties as well. Listen, if you're really into this, obviously you could go full-time, make this out of some really nice materials, put actual hinges in it. We're trying to avoid that. We're trying to kind of build this out of scrap stuff. So typically I have zip ties around. Use a drill bit, and you can drill into your lid, and you can drill into your plywood, run your zip ties, and you've got an instant hinge. The only other thing I've learned about this, you might notice in the picture of my trap, is I have screws on each side of it. And that way, when the lid is down, if something's going on in here, it keeps it from shifting or popping and moving. So just some thoughts, but listen, there's no reason to have mice in your chicken coop if you can help it. Mice can carry obviously some disease. Rats get in there and they're known to actually chew on your chicken's feet and do some bad things, and we don't want that. So this is a way of creating a kill trap that is simple and hopefully just made out of things you have at home, because who hasn't bought a box of screws or what have you, or some Tupperware. So anyway, I appreciate you watching. I hope this has given you a great idea how to go make a very simple, easy to maintain mouse trap. Take care of your chickens, and I'll see you guys on the next video. Thanks for watching.